We got Rained Out Rantcast on the show, but I want to start out. I got behind on reading reviews, and I usually am like on top of that. But ever since the contest we did, and Brandon Thomas from Expanding Realities won that contest, like hands down. I do have to send a shout out to Big Dumb Kyle from Big Dumb Podcast because I got to send him a tumbler or a mug or something too because he made a great review that I've read already. But this one is from February 11th from Terry Bear Taz. She said, "Just when you think you have reached the bottom of the rabbit hole, Legit Bat shows you they found another freaking rabbit, and she just ordered a T-shirt and mug. Thanks, that's awesome." This one's from Jay Henahan from How to Kill a Sacred Cow. A must-listen show, one of the best shows out there. Much love to these guys. I think that's hyperbolic, Jay, but we appreciate it anyway. This one's from, I almost said Turd Liquor, but it's Dirt Lurker. Legit awesome. A great podcast covering a wide range of awesomeness. You won't be disappointed. Thank you, everybody. It's always nice to see. I have yet to see a shitty review. And I actually think it'd be fun to read a shitty review as long as you leave the 5 stars too and just say you're stupid, but leave 5 stars. That'd be fucking great. I don't know who would do that, but yeah. Anyway, I'm Joe. Jen's here, Ben's here, and our newest addition to the show, Miss Lene. And we're all here to just talk shit tonight. And oh, I forgot to bring in our guest. There we go. What's up, buddy? How's it going?
What's going on?
So just start out, introduce yourself. I never do these intros that some shows do. They list all your accolades or whatever. No, I let you do that
I don't
yourself.
have many accolades.
Well, whatever you do.
Yeah, I'm Chris, the host of the Rained Out Rantcast. Just your basic ranting opinion podcast. It's all opinion. It's all opinion. So don't, take me down. But yeah, you can find me on any podcast platform from Spotify to iHeart to Stitcher, I think. I don't know, all the platforms. Whatever you listen to your favorite show on, you can find the old Rantcast.
Standard podcast shit. Find us on all major platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what do you normally cover on your show? I know you talked about some Charles Lieber stuff. Have you been looking into that pretty heavily, or tell us about that? Because not everybody knows who that dude is.
Oh yeah, Charles Lieber. That's the Harvard scientist that got busted. I think the day that Kobe died is when he got busted in 2020. He's like the leading bio nano chemist at Harvard, and China had built him a lab at Wuhan Technical Institute, and they paid him millions of dollars. He was going back and forth from Harvard to China, working for them. And in 2019, 2 of his accomplices, one Xiao Zhang, and can't remember Yan Quinn Ya, I think her name is. They're both like 30 years old. They were posing as students at Harvard, but they're really in the CCP military. They were busted at Logan International Airport in Boston, trying to smuggle cancer cells out of the country. And those cancer cells were, I think, MSH. I think they are 3. It's some sort of cancer genome. And the interesting thing is I don't know if you know about the papers that came out about Moderna and the patent that was found within the sequencing of the SARS-CoV-2 that they from the lab in China itself, or from patient 0 or whatever, and it has the cancer cells from Moderna that were patented in 2017.
In COVID or in the vaccine?
Yeah, in the COVID virus. That came out in the Daily Mail. Shit, 3 weeks ago, a month ago. And they were cancer cells that they had patented that were found in the SARS-CoV-2.
How the fuck do you patent a fucking cancer cell?
Man-made?
Yeah. I mean, that was what came out right before the Ukraine, Russia stuff. You had all this stuff drop. You had Clinton was spying. You had, Hunter's laptop is real, which we all knew it was real, but people needed to be validated by CNN, so they could believe. You know, I mean,
Right.
that's
It's
what
not true until you see it on CNN, and then it's like, oh,
yeah,
that was
yeah.
the
Or
last nail.
your favorite, trusted news source, I guess. I
Yeah, and
mean,
everyone else who said it before that was a fucking crazy conspiracy theorist
Right, of course.
asshole. But yeah, when
Which
CNN says it, they're like, oh yeah.
it was definitely it swayed the election. You know, I mean, to hold all that shit away, because the people that voted in person, let's not talk about the mail-in ballots, but just the
Right.
people that voted in person, it would have swayed their whole, view. And they said, a lot, even on the left said this, in 2020, that if they would have known more about this laptop, and then the laptop just kind of disappears, and now it's been validated when Ukraine is the focus of the world, and most of the laptop bullshit's in Ukraine, Russia, China. I
Yeah, do
mean,
people forget about that quickly? That the whole thing with Hunter Biden that was downplayed was all about his Ukraine involvement, and then this happens, and they're like, "Stand with Ukraine, stand with Ukraine." It's like, why? This is
Well,
odd timing.
the laptop had more. Yes, it did have the Ukraine thing in it, but it had more to do with his involvement with China and everything leading up to what happened with the coronavirus.
yeah, and that his companies helped to get that money for those biolabs. I mean, it's all so interwoven, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
like it's all coming out at the same time why you have to stand for Ukraine at the same time, that we're on the brink of World War III. There's no break in fear now. I mean, there's times when you have a school shooting and then you get a break, and then they're not putting people through like perpetual, but for the last 2+ years now, they've had a death ticker on CNN. They've been in a perpetual fear thing. And now they're saying China found um, a new strain of
Of course.
Omicron. So Omicron 3.0 or some shit. Which, I mean, we know that COVID, whether it's real or not, I mean, it's man-made. It came from a fucking lab. And then you have all these connections to the lab, and like, why is nobody being arrested? I mean, I guess it's on us because everybody got scared of doing anything after January 6th.
Could we like citizens arrest them? Isn't that a thing where you can
I
citizen
believe
arrest
that
them?
is a thing. You see other countries will march to these people's houses.
Yeah, drag them
uh,
out and hang them up by the neck. I'm not saying we should do that, but I'm saying I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I would not be opposed to a public lynching or firing squad.
Good old
being
fashioned
reinstated.
lynching.
Well, that's racist. Lynching is racist.
Sorry, hanging.
It's total, yes, 100% racist. But yeah, all these connections, and there's, like I said, with January 6th seems to have like paralyzed that, because that was a grievance. That was a legit grievance. When you see how with the laptop and all the bullshit that now is fact, which we all knew was fact, but it's being legitimized by mainstream media. January 6th was a legit grievance.
Yeah.
I mean, but now they've got people scared of that type of filing of a grievance, and that's the only thing that will create
Well,
change. They
yeah,
got
now
people-
that they've put January 6th, the major insurrection, on the level of 9/11 and trying to commemorate it, all of a sudden, like, they harped on that. They literally harped on that for the last year, and then as soon as they had a bigger fish to fry, COVID, January 6th, all these other things went flying out the window, and you don't even hear at all about them. All you hear about is Ukraine and Will Smith smacking Chris Rock.
Oh my God!
and
stop with that shit.
you went from COVID, and we went how many years of smacking, punching Nazi, to flipping to, Ukraine. And I mean, Ukraine military is a good chunk of it is fucking real life Nazis.
Neo-Nazis, yeah, they have full brigades.
Yeah, they
They're not even hiding it either. It's not even like they're trying
Nah.
to hide it. They're like they have the symbols out there and everything. I mean, Look it up, Azov Battalion. Check it out, everybody. What do you think is going to go down with Hunter Biden, though? Because I mean, since nothing ever seems to change or nobody ever seems to get arrested, think anything's going to even come of that? I'm just reading your shirt, so I thought I'd go
I
there.
just
Here's-
he's probably
here's
gonna
the
end
rug.
up dead. I would assume. Yeah, I mean, I would assume he's gonna be found like OD'd or some shit in the near future because the laptop just keeps like more and more shit's coming out on that laptop, and it seems like they're setting up Joe Biden, to fucking pull the rug out from underneath him, or he's gonna get COVID he's got to get COVID at some point. He just did his fourth shot on TV. I don't know if you've seen that where he did that shot and as he's like pulling off his jacket, he's like, I don't know why I'm doing this on a stage,
So
Like, well,
actually,
you do everything on a stage, dude. Like, what are you talking about?
Your whole
I actually think-
presidency is a stage.
Yeah.
I think actually that you're completely right about that. I think what they're going to do is they're going to set it up for Hunter Biden to take the whole fall because they obviously don't want to tarnish, as if it needs any more, Joe Biden's name or his position. And then right as it's about to come out that they're going to open it up and go through all the evidence, Hunter Biden kills himself. And then what they're going to do is after he's dead, they're going to go through the evidence and say that all of it had to do with Hunter. None of it had to do with Joe. He didn't know anything about it. And then boom, both problems are solved. The laptop goes away. They blame all the evidence on a dead guy that supposedly killed himself. And then the big man, which is literally what they refer to him as in the laptop, the big man is safe. That's what I think is going to happen.
And you have the brother James. A lot of people don't know that Hunter's real name is Bobby. Robert Hunter Biden's. That's like I got episodes called Bobby Hunter Biden. Because that's his fucking real name. So when you see court documents and stuff, it's hard to search for Hunter Biden court documents when it's under Robert Hunter Biden. That's like Psaki said at a press briefing. I think douchebag Peter Douchey. I don't know the Fox guy.
Azak or whatever.
Yeah,
Wait,
he
no.
asked about it, and she said, damn, what did she say about it? Fuck, I lost my train of thought on that one when I was thinking of douchebag's name.
You probably said I'll circle back. That probably was about the
I'll
extent of
circle
it.
back to that one. It'll come back to me what I was getting at with
Hey, now you're sounding like Jen.
that. Yeah.
Saki, not
Yeah,
you.
Jen Psaki. I thought it was
Jen Psaki.
Psaki. You see, she's leaving to go to MSNBC. You see that?
Weird.
She's- yeah, I mean, and then you have these clips like that. Micah, I played this clip on one of my last episodes. Micah and Scarborough. Is that his name? Scarborough? I don't really watch these guys, but they're sitting there talking about Trump. And that Micah, her dad's from Poland, and her brother, I think, might be some high official in Poland now, but she's saying how Trump might be able to control the thinking of the people, of the viewers, and that's our job. She says that's our job, and Scarborough, whatever his name is, he just agrees and just keeps on moving. And they even said that on The View. I think Whoopi said that on The View too, about how it's their job to control the narrative. They're straight telling us now in such a way, like the bombardment of just like straight, they don't give a shit. Like they didn't give a shit before, but they would tell us through, movies and little TV things
Guess that extra
and this
protein wasn't a good
esoteric type
idea, huh?
shit, that you had to pick up and understand. Now they just come right out. I mean, look at the governor or the World Government meeting they had last week. They come right out. The title of it is the New World Order and how to achieve it. She comes right out and she says, "How do we achieve the New World Order?" After the week before, when Biden said something about the New World Order, and you see the video of him saying the New World Order on your Twitter feed, but then on the side it says, fact check, there is no New World Order, and then they come out with the the government of the world, and it's like, hey, yeah, so how are we gonna achieve this New World Order, guys? And it's like, what the fuck? Like, it's gaslighting. It's gaslighting, and
They're
that's all they
constantly
can do.
raising the bar on stupidity. They're like, how dumb
Yeah.
are the people of the world? So we'll just throw this one dumb thing out there. Wow, 80% of people bought that. That's nuts. Let's see how much higher we can go,
Yeah,
Stay tuned
and
for next week.
and it's like, what is next? What's gonna be next? You
Well,
know,
like, just the propaganda, pure propaganda. We get overused that term, but it is when you have the president of the United States getting his shots on TV on a fucking stage. How are people not seeing it? It sounds like something North Korea would do. Like, it's just
same
pure
as
propaganda, right?
the parallel with Ukraine and Zelensky. Okay, these parallels are so wild because how long did we listen to the left or the other side or the ones who fucking hated Trump talk about Trump's a TV, he came from reality TV, he has no political blah blah blah, and down with Trump. Now they're down with Zelensky, who had nothing. Like he
He was a
he
fucking
went to
comedic
law
actor.
school. He went to law school, come out, said, you know what, I'm gonna be a comedian, created a propaganda or a production company, and
Right.
then became the biggest star in one of the most poorest countries in the world. So when they're like, well, how did the Jewish guy in a Nazi run country, get 80% of the votes? It's like, he was the biggest comedian and the biggest star. I mean, he was on Ukraine's Got Talent, and he was on he did these weird fucking music videos where he's like in bondage and heels and shit, and then like had that TV show for 5 years of the servant of the people, I think it was called. And then
Yeah,
they
where
just-
he played a Ukrainian president prior
got
to
there by
being a
accident.
Ukrainian president.
Yeah, who got there just by a video that went viral on him.
Well,
then he
and I
becomes
actually
president.
I meant to bring up to you guys, and I don't know, obviously, you never know what's true or not. We all know that there's been a shitload of propaganda videos saying, firefight with Russian fighter jets, blah, blah, blah. And then you end up finding out that none of that's true. The other day, it was brought up on the show, the video where they're showing body bags, and then you see one person kind of running away, and somebody tries to sit up in one of the body bags. So come to find out, that wasn't at all from this era. That was a well-documented video from a protest video that they were running in Ukraine back in 2014 when they did the whole Winter on Fire and they did the revolution in Kiev. It was a video overtly for the propaganda of basically saying that at that time the Ukrainian government was killing their people, and so this might as well be what it looks like. And that's when they had all the body bags out. It was a purposeful propaganda against the current Ukrainian government. And then, of course, just like the video I shared on Facebook of the BRDMs getting lit up by Molotovs, and that got taken down on my page because they're like, yeah, this is false information. Well, come to find out, it's because it was from the same era, the Winter on Fire revolution back in 2014. So it was still all in Ukraine, but a lot of these videos are not from this era. And then people are putting them up saying, oh, look, the Ukrainian war is fake. This is video evidence right here. All these body bags aren't actually filled with dead people. You can see that in this video. So I'm like, I don't obviously know how much of the Ukrainian war is true. I know that it's partially true due to our sister being there and the things that I've heard from her. But to the extent of it, obviously, I don't think we're ever going to know. I don't think that our social media platforms are any less regulated and censored than a lot of the other countries, and we just aren't aware of it because we don't live in those other countries. I think it's right on par with anybody else's censorship.
Yeah, you have no idea what the fuck the people in those countries are actually seeing or thinking, really. Same with like Russia. No idea. The average Russian citizen that does my job, but in Russia, no idea how they're viewing the world right now. Like, there's no way to tell because I don't know what they're being inputted or the
We're
propaganda.
being told that Putin has shut everything off, so they don't know anything. I mean, they don't know.
So we're being
like,
told, or
well, yeah. I mean, you got Dan Crenshaw. Dan Crenshaw was on Fox, and
Eye patch.
yeah, Pirate Crenshaw or whatever. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, I was about to say, a hell of a veteran.
Yeah, he was on Fox, and someone brought up the biolabs, and he goes, "Oh, now you're just pushing a Russian talking point." He's like, "Well, in Russia, they didn't know anything about the biolabs until they got brought up in America." And it's like, well, in America, they probably wouldn't have known anything about the Ukrainian war that's going on with Russia if it wasn't propagated on the TV. You know, I mean, it works
Yeah.
both
Well,
ways.
there's a little bit of insight to that as well. Our sister who has lived in Ukraine for 12 years, I know a lot of the listeners already know that because we've talked about it, but she was just here until the end of January for 3 months. She was here from just before Thanksgiving until the end of January. And right around that time, they started really pushing in the mainstream news here in America about 175,000 troops being on the eastern Ukrainian border. And we asked her, we're like, is that really a threat? Because obviously we were naturally worried about her. She lives 15 minutes outside of the capital. And she goes, okay, hold on a second. She goes, the Russian troops are always there. They have been there since well before we were there. And we've been living there for 12 years. She goes, what ends up happening, and we've ended up seeing this multiple times, is anytime America wants to put pressure on Russia, they start really hammering it out in the news that he's this bad guy getting on the eastern flank. And then as soon as we put pressure on him enough that he withdraws the troops for, whatever agenda it is that we're putting that pressure on him, we get our way and then we stop talking about it. Oh, Putin withdraw the troops. Okay, we're safe. So she wasn't worried about it at all. She's like, yeah, they're always there. Like, they're just making a big deal about it in America right now because they want something to become of that pressure that they're putting on him. Well, then less than a month later, he invaded. And I ended up messaging her and I'm like, so much for them always being there, not really anything to worry about, huh? And she goes, well, that's why it was such a surprise to all of the Ukrainians, including our friends and our church and stuff, is because, yeah, they have always been there. No, it's never really been an issue. And all of a sudden they decided to invade. She goes, it was a shock to all of us. I'm like, huh, okay,
And
well,
it's been a war zone since at least 2014, like Donbass and
right.
a couple other spots have been a total war zone. I mean, with Ukrainian military shelling the people. And Vice News, I just watched this Vice piece from, I think it was 2 years ago, about the kind of the party scene after hours in Ukraine, in Kiev, when they had an 11 o'clock curfew. I haven't got through the whole thing, but I mean, it explains how it goes through the DNR, I think it is, and these other areas, and they're all shelled out and bombed. You can hear gunfire, and this was years ago on Vice. You know, I mean, yeah, I'm not over there. You say you got a sister over there, so uh, you see videos like there was a guy on Twitter, Les Luther. I don't know if you guys seen this guy's Twitter,
Mm-mm.
and he was walking around Kiev like for weeks looking for war and not finding anything. Everybody's going to work, doing their thing, and I don't know if those were real videos or, I mean, there's snow on the ground and he's talking to people, and you see some videos where you have, Ukrainian citizens thanking the Russians, for coming in and saving them. Like, so the propaganda is so crazy. The psyop is so crazy, but I mean,
Yeah, and there's
Alex
so many
Alex
points
Jones
to it
told
that
us.
don't make sense, in that if it was an actual big, huge deal over there, the footage coming out would be real and it would speak for itself. The fact that they have to use all this fake shit in videos from 2 years ago or 5 years ago, or like, why are you having to do that? If it's that big of a deal there, you should just have awesome footage of the actual shit happening.
Yeah,
Or you'd
and
think it'd
now
be all over TikTok or Instagram, or people in Ukraine being like, "Holy shit, this plane just fucking bombed us." Like, there should
yep.
be all these videos, and you don't really see that.
I mean, you got to get on Reddits and Twitter, or I mean, Telegram and shit. But I mean, it's hard to tell what's real and stuff because they're trying to control our realities, right? Everything that we see and witness is on the screen, right? It's
Yep.
all on a screen, whether it's the phone, the computer, the TV. We don't see these people in real life. We don't see these things in real life for the most part. I mean,
Right.
I know that there's war in the Middle East and stuff like that, because I mean, there has been people that's been there, but I mean, the majority of it. I mean, look at Zelensky. he releases a video where he's standing, in front of this building at night, and the lighting is so fucked up, like it's obviously a green screen behind him, and he's standing there saying, I'm not going to deal with traitors, so anybody that disagrees, you're in prison or they're going to fucking kill you. I mean, they're poisoning the peace negotiators over there, right? And then he shuts down any opposing political parties, but not the Nazi party, right? And then shuts down the media. I mean, that's what we're being told. I don't know if that's what's true or not true, or what's actually going on there. But if this guy's shutting down the media, all the opposition, saying, he's gonna. I mean, it sounds like a North Korea. It sounds like a Kim Jong Un type
Yeah.
fucking thing. But
Sounds like
they
what
get
they
to
were
do it
saying previously.
under the guise of safety. They weaponize safety, right? Because we're in a war right now. So for your safety, we're gonna ban all the anybody that disagrees or any opposing view, anything that is opposite of the narrative that we're pushing. We're just gonna ban
Wh-
it, but it's for your safety. It's not,
Which let's be real, they've been doing that since the beginning of time. If you are in the military or you're supposed to be rallying behind the country of your military and rah rah red, white, and blue, or blue and yellow, whatever fucking country you're from, that's how it's always been. Hey, this is what we're doing. This is why we're going over there. Don't listen to anything else that anybody says.
Mhm.
We wouldn't lie to you, and we need you to believe this because that will rally the moral support, and that will make good soldiers do exactly what they're told when they're told without question. This is what we need. And then they do it. And at least in wars past, before we had, the social media platforms that we have, people do it. And then you have situations like World War II, Vietnam, the Korean War, where they come back and they're all fucked up because they're like, I don't know why we were there. There was no clear-cut objective. World War
You're
II was a
already
little
seeing
different.
that with those soldiers in the Ukraine and Russia, the videos that are coming out,
Exactly.
with you, even the Ukrainian, some of the soldiers are like, you're seeing soldiers that are saying that they're being put on the front lines with like no ammunition and shit, especially
One
ones that are
magazine and an AK. Yep.
yeah, the ones coming from overseas or from Europe, these mercenaries that are coming in, like what a weird time,
Yeah, and
that
you just
right
can't believe
now.
anything.
Well, right now they'll pay to send a militia from the United States over to, the Ukraine just to go have a great time. Fucking
I was gonna
blast all
say,
the Russians
fuck
you
some
want,
people up.
But when you get there, it sounds like they're shredding your fucking passport and they're not giving you much for weapons and ammunition. They're sending you to the front lines unless you have a booming Instagram or TikTok, apparently. Because
Of
there's some
course.
dude, who was on Instagram, or he might have been on Twitter, only had a couple followers, and then posted a video that he was over there. Boom, he had 200 and something thousand followers the next day. And now, he's on
Fucking
his
Jesus.
phone filming and stuff. And he's like, oh, don't worry, guys. They can't locate me or anything. So you have this guy doing all these videos, last action hero. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's going to be smoked. And then like it's like, oh man, like, oh, now we have this tragedy and we have all these great videos of him and the soldiers, and look, none of them were Nazis. They're
Oh,
fucking
he's
all
a
honest.
hero. He's a patriot.
Yeah. And like the Nazi thing, I mean, Time Magazine did a thing on the Azov. Vice has done things on the Azov. There's documentation that, the United States is sending Ukraine money. The Azov battalion is part of the National Guard over there. So that way that money funnels into them and then it's being sent back. I mean, it got sent back to the Unite the Right in Charlottesville. So I mean, like they want to say, it's just a small faction, they use that Trudeau. It's just a small little
Right, right.
faction of people. And it's fucking growing. I mean, the Vice piece that was done in 2019, I believe, showing just the rallies they have, and like, they have carnival rides for kids and they have like concerts and everything. It's there's a lot of money behind it.
Yeah,
Carnival rides for kids with a guillotine at the end of it, but they won't show that part.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's meant to confuse everybody. It's meant to be this psychological thing. Like I said before, I mean, to see us go from, COVID and people waking up, especially right before Ukraine, you know, people find out that Moderna had a fucking patent that was 3 years old that was found in the sequence of the original virus. Like what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like that's major. Oh, war in Ukraine. They've been lying
Yeah.
to us for 2 years. War in Ukraine. Oh, that's true. This time,
Right.
100%.
Let me shift you
fact.
guys over this way.
Yep. But
Yeah,
this
and
time,
that's why podcasts like yours get banned from YouTube, because people like you, like
Right.
everyone in this community, we're dangerous to them because we're just analyzing things. We're not saying one thing is one thing or the other. We're just breaking it down, looking at it, getting other opinions, and they're like, no, 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 don't even try
Don't do
that.
your own
Right?
research.
Isn't that fucking crazy though? You can't take the data that they give you. Even if it's horseshit, you cannot take the data that they give you and break it down in a logical sense without being told that you're spreading misinformation. Nope,
because
they
you don't have a lab coat.
They're not. They don't even just want you to take the information that they give you. They want you to take it the exact way that they give it to you. No breaking it down. Nope. Just get it put in, and that's it. Just the little bit that we want you to have.
Well,
That's
you said
bananas.
you don't have a lab coat, but sometimes even the people with the lab coats are fucking banned too because they're going against. They're doing the same
Yeah.
thing that we're
Yeah,
not
like
supposed to do.
doctors that have their licenses stripped
Yeah.
that are completely
Frontline
discrediting it.
doctors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
Doctors
odd.
that showed up to the school board meetings to tell them, like, hey, stand against the state. Don't make parents get their kids vaccinated to come to school. And all of a sudden, and he was a head immunologist and virologist at the major hospital. I think it was in Illinois. And they were the next day after that video at the school board meeting went viral, he was fucking out.
Yeah, and
Fucked
what's
up.
the thing is, like, the frontline doctors, they come out in their lab coats and stuff, and it's a double thing here because the lab coat thing is a little propaganda thing, because you wouldn't
Oh,
have a
yeah.
lot of doctors. Edward Bernays came up with that shit to sell us cigarettes.
Yeah.
So
Before we get
it's
too
just
far off
Surgeon
of the,
General's
Ukraine
warning.
thing, though, I wanted to bring up one little thing about the Ukraine thing. Is I'm sure you saw the meme, but it was Edmonton from Alberta, Canada, firefighters supposedly in
Mhm.
Ukraine. Like they were showing video of, or I
Yep.
think it was a video, it was CNN, but it was
Yep.
a video or photo, whatever, of
No,
firefighters
it's a
helping
video.
out
It's a video of
Ukraine.
Don Lemon, right?
Yeah, Don Lemon.
Nobody's in bomb gear, but Don Lemon also just comes into the frame, and he looks like a dork with his.
Yeah,
It almost looked like he was in front of a green screen, but then when you watch
He's
the
like,
video
"Oh,
and
shit."
he's just standing there, it's even got his press thing. It's
Yeah.
like just hung on there with like a safety pin, and he's like,
but it
"Oh,
was
the
funny 'cause
fire."
people
Well, they
pointed
hit-
out the Edmonton thing, and so I had to look it up because I sent it to my mom. Like, look at this! Like, was this on CNN? And so I had to look it up. PolitiFact says that, oh yeah, it's normal. The Edmonton, Alberta firefighters have been donating uniforms to the Ukrainians for years. Like,
Yeah.
how fucking random is that? Edmonton, Alberta donates their firefighter uniforms to Ukraine for some fucking
For
reason.
years.
Yeah, for a couple years now.
I mean,
Like,
they've
what?
been sent apparently every country's been sending Ukraine everything. Like Canada sent them all their military equipment. They've exhausted their military.
Yeah, supposedly.
How many countries have
Britain-
done this?
Hundreds. They were saying that Britain, the
China's gonna have
rocket
an easy
launcher,
time.
the NLAW, it's the newer form of like the World War II bazooka that they had. Apparently, Britain sent them like 2,000 of those rocket
All of them.
systems back in January, way before, like a month before they even invaded. And then if you follow the paper trail, Denmark, Sweden, Germany, the US, Canada, and a metric shiteload of other fucking countries sent them a fuck ton of shit within the last
they're still
year.
sending. They're still sending. Like Canada.
We're not going to get involved.
exhausted
Here's
their
everything you
military.
need.
Yeah. Canada exhausted their military. They come out and they said, yeah, it's, we're pretty exhausted. And the news lady's like, when you mean exhausted, does that mean you're just like, it's gone, or like just what you can give away? And she's like, nah, it's exhausted. And, like, okay. So if Russia decided to attack, North America, It's just us and Mexico, I think, and I don't know what Mexico's army
Uh,
looks like.
It's
I
fine,
don't either.
Canada.
But then
We got
again,
shit covered.
we
Go
left
ahead and go back
800
to
and
bed
something.
until the NHL playoffs start.
We left 800 and something thousand vehicles in Afghanistan alone.
Oh, fuck.
Almost
Oh,
a
yeah, there's that.
million vehicles. That's not weapons and munitions and all that
You're
stuff.
talking about
And
Apaches and Blackhawks and Chinooks and
yeah,
FLIR systems and
where the
all
fuck, where's
kinds
all
of
that
shit
shit now? Where's it all now? And that's
being
a lot
sold
of
and taken
equipment.
apart.
That's a lot of. Are they gonna march it over in Ukraine and use it? And I mean, who knows
No,
what they're doing with this shit?
they're gonna blueprint the shit out of it and sell the patents and blueprints to whoever the fuck it is that needs them and the highest bidder that we know we would never give that shit and that information to. That's exactly what
I,
they're
I
gonna do with it.
I don't know. I mean, I think most of our stuff comes from China, anyways. They already got the fucking blueprints that everything that they need, and like we
More
don't even
than
have, we don't even have the weapons that Russia and China have. I keep saying like, they're like, look, he's losing all of his tanks and shit, and it's like, I don't even know why he's sending tanks over there. What the fuck do you need tanks when you have intergalactic, you have intercontinental fucking ballistic missiles that are hypersonic that can change direction on a fucking dime? Like, what do you need the tanks for? Like, maybe he's just cleaning up, getting some green,
No, he's just
going
having
green. So he's
fun.
getting rid of all of
He's
his
just having
fucking
fun.
tanks.
You
Yeah,
gotta have
I mean,
tanks if you have something to aim at.
I don't,
You make great
it's
videos.
and we know that Putin is a WEF, a fucking World Economic Forum fucking puppet. We know this. Like they all are involved. They all are involved,
Yeah.
and they're creating this WWF fucking bullshit in front of our eyes.
Well, and I think that
Because
Zelensky's in
America's the
bed with
last.
Putin.
Who is?
Oh, they
I think
probably golf
Zelensky is
together.
I
They
think
all are.
Zelensky is 100% in bed with Putin to conjure up this whole thing because if think about it this way, if any of the reports are true about genocidal tendencies on the Eastern Front, the eastern part of Ukraine wanting out of Ukraine, so they welcomed, the Russian troops. If you take any of that, the fact that they're the fourth up from the bottom in corruption in the ranking list, all of those things, if you believe or can believe, or there is legitimacy to those claims, yeah, I could totally see Zelensky being like, "Hey, can we strike a deal? Can we set this little world stage? I'll ask for help when really I'm just in the Kremlin making these videos for you. And we won't tell the public anything. We'll let that be organic and raw theatrics. But yeah, let's make a deal. I give
It's
you all
way
of the nuclear
further.
power plants, and then you make sure that my people don't fucking, I don't know, starve." Like, I
It's
could totally see them making a deal like that.
Nah, they don't give a shit if their people starve. They're literally
Fair.
in the fucking club, man. I mean, like, and like you see Russia, and India making deals and China making deals when it comes to the petrodollar. I mean, the last like fucking
Scary shit right
uh,
there.
the last crutch the United States has is the fucking petrodollar. And if you have, you know, I keep seeing rumors of 120 plus countries about to flip the petro and no longer accept it or trade with it. And if that happens, I mean that's the execution of our economy. And
Absolutely.
we are the last line of defense for this new world order that's not happening. Thank you.
Yeah.
Fact check Snopes or whatever. And is it not weird that now when you would do shows about and you start talking about COVID, you'd have to say, hey, people are dying and stuff, and COVID's real, and now people have to go, yes, people are dying in Ukraine, and that's real, but I mean, you got to give that warning, and it's just so wild the flip in the last month of, and people are just falling for anything they're given now, and then the
Yeah.
lockstep of the media together all at once, and that itself is a red flag. I mean, just how they're lockstepping, and even the politicians. I mean, they're even all. I mean, because they're all in on it. They're all in on it. Like this is the last step of this whole thing. They
It
got the
almost leaves you
COVID.
speechless because you're like, I don't even know what to say about this anymore. It's so right in front of your face. I mean, some of our
Ukraine
faces,
is.
but
They claim to be the leader in the digital ID. A lot of people don't know that. I mean, you look up Ukraine leader in digital ID, and it comes up that they implemented their digital ID a while back, and it's being used all across
Can
Ukraine.
you define what that is?
What do you
What do you
mean?
mean by digital ID?
What
Is it for
what
COVID
they're
or
trying
just
to
in
do
general?
in Canada and Ontario, where they have everything's on the phone. So your medical, your driver's license, everything is digital. I mean, they've already everything is installed and ready to go. And it's just getting that everybody over that push. I mean, they just sat up on the stage at the global governance leadership seminar, saying that the biggest hurdle for the new world order is the economies, right? And we have to push for this digital economy, and the digital economy is blockchain, because blockchain, they can safely track every single transaction. You
Yeah.
got people,
See
the
that?
Bitcoin people going, "Oh, it's totally, anonymous or whatever. You can get decentralized shit." But in the end, I mean, yeah, I guess you can probably trade for it. I don't know how that's all going to work, especially with they've told us over and over that the government's already ready to implement the Fed coin and they're going to
Right.
use XRP to do it. So we already know this. We've known this for years with
Yeah,
XRP
what do
taking
you
over
think about
Swift.
that? Because I know this community especially is pretty split on crypto, and some people think it's the best thing ever, and that's the future, and some people are like, no, that's literally the mark of the beast. It's going to be terrible. The thing I don't get about it is, and maybe you could explain it to me, is that um, or Bitcoin especially is backed by what? What do you have to do to get Bitcoin? You have to buy it with dollars or with whatever
Mhm.
currency you're using. So, and then when you want to cash it out, what do you get in exchange? You get dollars. So how does that make any sense? If you're trying to get away from the dollar, the only way to get Bitcoin is with fucking
But
dollars.
you can trade it on those markets as well. You can trade it for something
Right.
else for another
You
coin.
You
can,
So you
can
don't
cut
but
have
you
to
out the
have
middleman of the dollar.
right
sure.
now there's not a lot of there's businesses starting to integrate to take Bitcoin and
Right.
different cryptos and shit like that,
The
but
whole point of trading it for a dollar was for companies and both private and corporate businesses that did not deal with those currencies yet. That's the only reason why you would trade it out for a dollar. Otherwise, a lot of websites, whether it be PayPal or other online things, because it's all digital mining, if you own Bitcoin, you can just trade it straight across for whatever it is that you're trying to purchase.
But
So
it's in
yeah,
denominations of dollars though. Like if that's what I'm trying to say. Like even if you trade it for Ethereum or whatever else, it's still the price or the amount of Ethereum you have. Like I could have 3 Ethereum. What do they always say? That's
they
worth
have
this
to.
dollars.
They
Yeah.
have to for
For
comparison.
now, but I think
Right,
it's going
exactly.
to change. I think it would move away from that. But some
Absolutely.
it's
businesses
just
are
it
taking
says it right in the name, blockchain. I mean, it's digital enslavement. It's crypto. It's
Blockchain.
blockchain. Block is cube. Cube is Saturn. It's fucking Saturn worship shit.
Whoa.
Like straight up, man. I mean, it's
You just
right
gave me a
there.
fucking nerd boner like with one sentence. That was amazing.
Well, that's the other weird thing though
said
is they
this
call
for
it
years.
decentralized, but everybody has. I mean, anybody who knows how to can get access to the ledger of every like you were saying, every transaction is there forever. It's on the blockchain. It's there forever. It's a permanent record. How is that decentralized? That's top.
Well,
Seems like
That's the
they
opposite.
also have shown in articles when they bust like websites and like these like the hacking thing on the pipeline, and the ransom was for Bitcoin, and then they were able to get how the fuck did you get the Bitcoin back if this is supposed to be anonymous and shit? This is
Right.
supposed to be some way to be completely privatized, some way that you can't get your hands on it, and you got your hands on it. What? Like these are revelations of the method type shit,
same way they stole all that Bitcoin from I think it was from Ross. Remember that dude that started Silk Road? Or was it Silk Road?
Well, no,
The
they
guy
got Silk
from
Road's
prison?
wallet. They got Silk Road's
Yeah.
wallet. So Road's wallet is one of the biggest Bitcoin wallets. Is sitting in the FBI.
Wasn't it like
Uh,
$7 billion or some
it's
crazy
huge.
shit?
It's a
Holy
big
shit.
chunk of Bitcoin that's just sitting there. But again, I mean, blockchain. I mean, it's right there. It's digital. We're moving into the metaverse. You know, they're trying to destroy the self. They're trying to destroy the identity. You know, I mean, you guys had David Icke on, and he was kind of
Yeah.
talking about that stuff of, you know, just destroying your individuality, what it is to be a person, you know, and that's what's being done. That's why we have the pronoun shit, and you know, people have clown self and whatever the fuck is going on. And
Isn't that wild though too? That they're
I don't
trying
know
to
if that's a
destroy-
joke or what, the clown self, but you know,
I
you
think
ask-
it is, but I also think it's real.
But if you
They're trying to
ask, if,
destroy individuality while also saying you're individual and unique and special, but trying to turn everyone a pale shade of gray at the same time. It's fucking
yes,
wild.
and then saying, you know, it's not mental health, but I have to like change my mental being to call you what you're not because to make you feel better about yourself. Like, what the fuck are we talking
Sounds like
about?
a
More
mental problem to me.
confusion, though. It's more confusion. They want to
Yes,
keep us
it's
super
more-
confused
yes.
so that we can't fucking figure out what's going on. And when we get together with people, they had, I think, with COVID, all the social distancing, stay away from everyone. Don't even talk to anyone. Just talk on the phone. Just don't, no in person shit. But we can't get together in groups and talk about things. And now we can't even talk
Right.
about them just online without getting banned because they're just like, no. I don't want anyone to have these ideas. It's all just one thing. Oh, they definitely want us to be all just no gender.
Oh yeah,
no
all like-minded.
It's
look
this
at
like societal homogenization where they're trying to just pasteurize everybody down to the same thing because that makes it way easier to control. If everybody's the same fucking thing, then they know exactly how to control all of those. If you have all these different individual people, that's pretty hard to control,
can you-
especially in real life.
Can you imagine if you had a cattle farm though, and every single one was individual, and you wanted to profit off all of those cattle, and they all wanted to escape and do other
Pain in the
shit. And
ass.
every time you
They had their own
try to rein
ideas.
one in, this
This happens though,
annoying.
and that's probably why they whipped out the CRISPR cows last week. They approved the
Mm.
CRISPR cows.
Mhm.
I used to work in a slaughter
Yummy.
house, and yeah, cows would when they're in a line to go in to be murdered, and the door opens and their buddy's gone, but there's nowhere to go, they start freaking out because they know what's up.
Oh, it's kind of like that fucking dumb video where they hold the sheet up, they throw it, and then they go around
Yeah.
the door, and the animals are like,
Yeah,
this. They're
except
like
this is
death.
yeah, not cool. It's not gonna be
Well,
good. inside.
chickens do the same thing. Jen was telling me that like the chickens know when you're going to go slaughter one of their friends, they can be on the other side. They can't see anything, whatever, but they know when you're going to like you take one of the chickens to chop its head off and eat it. The other chickens know, and they like come up to the fence and stand there like
Yeah, it was a fence that you couldn't see through. It was a very tall wooden fence. And when my friends, they had a farm and they were slaughtering a chicken, it was upside down and in a catatonic state. It wasn't going, I wasn't doing that, but it wasn't making any noise. Yeah. It was just upside down, motionless, doing nothing. And all of the chickens in the coop, because I went back and I didn't want to watch it, but I went and looked, and all of the chickens came collectively. There were probably 20 of them and stood in the corner closest to where that chicken was being slaughtered. Couldn't see it for sure. And no noise was happening. No one was even talking. And they all stood there motionless.
and chickens are
in that
fucking
direction.
retarded too.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
dumbass
Well, they're
little
little
dinosaurs.
You think-
too.
You think that's what
Exactly.
you think that's what the Jews did when the other people went to the showers?
I don't
They just stood there
I
at the
think they
corner of the fence.
maybe. I mean,
They probably heard noises though.
yeah,
That
I'm
was a
sure
horrible
they heard
joke. Too soon. Sorry.
it
Nah,
might
it's
be
been like
too soon,
70 years.
sorry.
People are a lot smarter than
on
chickens, though.
that.
I think they had an idea of where they were going.
God, I hope.
I think they have the same sound clip, dude. That's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. We do have the same one. Have a fucking
Wow, you guys should do a whole podcast together, just the two of you.
Give your balls a top.
Yeah, we should do dueling soundboards. I know
have
you
to
hate
know.
it. It's fine. I don't do it for you. I do it for me. But where do
I
you think? So we're coming up at almost an hour, dude. Where do you think this is going? I ask everybody at the end of the show. What's your own view on what's going to happen with either the metaverse or crypto or global control or reptilians or aliens? What do you think? Cover all of that. please.
Well, I mean,
Color
They're
all of that
telling
in
us
10
they
minutes
want a
after
new
50
world
minutes in
order.
the Ukraine.
yeah, they want a new world order. I mean, this World War III, I guess, is going to be the last move on it. They took the COVID, they shot up people with this fucking vaccine that now the paperwork's coming out saying, yeah, there's going to be a lot of dead people from it. So
Weird.
You know, I mean, who would have
Can
thought?
you imagine
know?
that actual headline?
Yeah,
There's
gonna
going to be a
dead
lot of dead people.
Hey,
Like that's just
please
the
Please go
headline.
get it.
Well, then everyone who got banned off YouTube for saying that shit originally should get their fucking accounts back. Can they get some
and
reparations
we
for
should
that
be able to
shit?
fucking
Yeah.
sue. You know, I mean, like,
Yeah.
I've been so shadow banned, and just hitting these digital walls everywhere, which I mean, at the beginning was my fault because I changed my profile name on Facebook at the beginning to El COVID, and that really pissed people off. Um, and then Facebook tried to ban me for it, but they had made me sign a contract as El COVID to run ads, so
Oh my god.
one of their things is they just needed a contract and a certified letter. So I just wrote, yeah, I go by El COVID, signed El COVID,
Oh
and then
my
I sent it to
God.
them. And this was already 2 years ago coming up because it was right on my birthday where they gave it back to me, and I was like, what the
You
fuck? They gave
You totally ripped that from Deadpool, didn't you?
what?
You know what they call cancer in Mexico? El cancer.
Oh, I didn't even think about. I was just laying in bed one day, one night, and I seen that you could change your name on Facebook, and it just popped in my head to put El COVID, and it went through, and I was like, okay. And then
That is fucking great.
when there was a guy who would constantly update his friends about COVID, and he'd be typing away, and if you started to type in COVID, it would drop me in the thing, and he would just push enter. So I'd get tagged in like these updates. I'm like, thanks for letting me know, buddy. And
That's beautiful.
finally last year, they finally vaxxed El COVID, and I just let it go that time because it was quite a hinder on me too having El COVID because I'm getting flagged on everything, but they couldn't really stop me because the only thing I'm posting is true. I try to use mainstream articles for everything that I try to expose because then what do they
Right.
do? They can't fucking
They can't
say,
fact check the article that they support.
Yeah. So the best thing is like any shit that comes my way, if it's not from CNN or anything like that, I have to go through all their sources until I find that, close to their mainstream shit. So that way it's like you can't argue with it. It's from you guys, like what are you supposed to do about
Right.
this? You
Yeah,
said it.
a lot
You
of
said
people
it.
tried doing that where they put a picture on Instagram or something because that's what gets fact checked mostly is the actual text in the photo. So people will be putting up photos of like Biden and saying our best president ever, and then writing like an essay on the
Yeah.
caption. So that's like the eye catcher is like Biden is our best president ever, and we love him. And you're seeing it from like Alex Stein or something. You're like, what the fuck is he doing?
Yep.
And then there's a paragraph that's like, by the way, this is all bullshit. And blah,
You
blah,
got to
blah,
get creative, like,
Yeah.
I mean, I always refer to Gates as Dr. Bill Gates, because he is the world's greatest doctor. I think he is.
Oh,
If
that's
you
the other
search
day.
for it,
Yeah.
he is the greatest
You know what?
doctor ever. And
You know
he's
what
going to
else
stop
works?
chickens from, being scared of for other chickens because he's going to feed us, 3D printed chickens. They're going to be good.
You know
You're
what
gonna
else?
love
You know what else works is typing out their name using the special characters that are underneath of that letter, like the
Oh,
I
yeah.
with the extra little
Mhm.
for emphasis. You could do Gates as like Gates,
Oh.
where you have the little thing over the E
Fancy.
and just call him Dr.
Gates.
Gates.
Got
Well,
this.
like, I would stream out like when Plandemic dropped, I would stream it on Facebook. And any Shadowgate, my Shadowgate stream is still up because I changed like Plandemic. I put in a lowercase or a uppercase I for the L instead of
Oh,
just those
AI is
little,
easy to confuse
like
sometimes.
Shadowgate has a zero.
So
in
the
it and stuff.
algorithms won't recognize it because it doesn't spell out
And it
Plandemic. It
didn't
spells
recognize
out Peondemic.
my Plandemic was like the longest running stream on Facebook because that thing come down so fast. That was one of the fastest things I seen pulled from everything. One of the fastest fucking things to get pulled down. But my stream stayed up there for quite a while because it must have been just my spelling with the putting the I in there. But yeah, my Shadowgate and stuff is still on there. Some of the stuff is still on there on the
I can't
Facebook.
remember. I posted something the other day where I went to go post it, and they'll tag you before you even post it. They'll come up and
Yeah.
be like, this looks like something similar that's been reported, because I was like, these stupid fucks or something. And I'm like, I'm not calling anybody that except for the people in the photo. So if they have a problem, they can come at me. But so I changed like one letter, like you were saying, to
Mhm.
look a little different or whatever. And then it just skated right through and never heard another word about it. So all you got to do
Yeah,
is try to trick the AI, and you get through pretty much anything.
it's well, shit. My last episode, or I guess was it my last one of my last episodes with Tom Thompson from Strange Brew podcast up there in Canada. Like we did an hour and a half, and I posted it on YouTube, and they banned it within 30 minutes. It wasn't even up long enough to watch the whole fucking thing. And
Wow.
then I appealed it, and they fucking said no within 10 minutes. Like,
Jeez.
I was
not a
talking.
problem.
I said everybody's got VADES, but that's
So let me get this straight. Within 45 minutes of posting an hour and a half episode, you got it taken down and your appeal denied.
yeah. I was, and then I can't go
Fucking
live on
cucks.
YouTube for 30 days. I couldn't post on YouTube, so now I'm trying to move to focus more on Odyssey, and there's just so much media and stuff, and working,
Yeah.
and I try to put
It-
out a good show.
It's gonna happen to me pretty soon. I hit that 24-hour ban about 2 or 3 months ago, and now I know, because you get warned the first time, and then the second time it's 24 hours, and then the next time it's like a week, and then the next time it's 30 days. I think I'm on the next time I get banned would be a week, but it's actually
Well,
like my private page. It's like my
Probably
personal
depends on the
page.
offense, though. It probably
they
depends
fuck,
on like what they find offensive.
they
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're telling me this hit on my YouTube's my first one on this YouTube, and yeah, I got 30 days, and I still don't think I can post on YouTube right now. Like,
Wow.
so it just like
Good
I
for
couldn't
you,
I
though.
can't
Be
post on I
proud of
can't
Right.
that,
run.
own it.
Oh, I love it. I can't go live on Facebook. They took that because Facebook kind of is. I got my group over there, and then my page, and that's where I've gotten most of my like people listening and shit was off
Yeah.
Facebook. So I do these lives, and there'd be all these people watching them and shit. I had done a live one time exposing these pedo groups on Facebook, and it was this
Mhm.
big live, and people were emailing me in real time because they were reporting the groups to Facebook, and Facebook was emailing them back within minutes saying, "Look, we can't do anything. You can't do anything about the group. You have to report each individual fucking post."
Oh my
So then you
God.
have to subjugate yourself to what's in this thing. So the live had gone, people were pissed, and on Facebook, people start watch parties. So you don't really know how many are in there. You're seeing 100,
Right.
200 people in, but what's actually watching, it was big. These messages just kept coming in. And so I was like, I'm going to show you why um, Facebook is able to do this. So I went to the group. I said, we're going to report it. I'd already reported it, but it's still there. So we're going to report it again. And it brings up like, is there sexual activity? And they had these kids on there, but then they're covered up, right? So it's like this gray thing, right? There's not nudity, right? But they're not actually being abused, right? So they allow this gray area. So I said, we're just going to put it under, like sexual, whatever that one was. And as soon as I fucking hit enter to send, boom, my fucking iTunes flashed on the screen. My, with, to my credit card information, everything. Boom.
Oh shit.
So I instantly had to stop the live, and then I went back. Just it was one frame is all it took. You could freeze it, you could see everything. I had to delete it and get rid of it. And yeah, they
That is
don't. The
fucking
pedophile.
weird.
Damn, it sounds like you broke the matrix, dude. In a way, you found some sort of
Yeah,
some
it's
loophole where they're trying to fuck with people who are trying to report that shit.
dude.
I
One
mean,
time I
obviously they
called
are, but that's crazy.
I called Sugar Fox, I think it's called. It's on Connecticut Avenue in Washington D.C. Right, and it's 3 doors down from a ping pong pizza place, right, in DC.
Oh, right, that one. Yeah, yeah.
I fucking called them, right, and I was like, "Hey, you guys," it was like 9 o'clock in DC, and I was like, "You guys store all of your extra ice cream and shit in the basement, right?" Because this building was built in the early 1900s, and it's like the buildings for where I'm from. almost like buildings in Chicago and buildings in the Midwest, where they're connected all the way through these city blocks, whether it's the top and the bottoms are all connected all the way through. So I was like, you guys store your ice cream and stuff in the basement? They're like, yeah, we do. And I was like, oh, thanks. And I hung up. Like 15 minutes later, I get a call and it shows DC on my thing. I was like, what the fuck? It scared the fuck out of me. I answered and they're like, Chris. I was like, they're like, what are you fucking calling here? You're a conspiracy guy. We're calling the cops. They start fucking harassing me, saying they're gonna get people after me and shit. And I was like, it caught me off guard. And I'm like, well, look, man, you've already been harassing me way longer than all I asked is about your basement. And then I hung up. I said, thank God I have this recorded. And then they hang up. But it was like scared
What
the
the
fuck out
fuck?
of me, man. Because when they called back, they knew my name and shit. And like, don't fuck with that.
That's fucking terrifying.
Wow.
I
How
put out a
long did it
video
take again? Sorry, I missed
for them
that.
to call back.
Yeah.
Oh, it was like 10 minutes. I mean, they called 10, 15 minutes. They called back and a DC number popped up and my heart dropped. I was like, oh shit. Yeah, I'm gonna answer it
Can
anyway.
you imagine as a
And I
normal
didn't
person, though, as a worker, just being asked that question, do you store your ice cream in the basement? You'd be like, yeah, fuck you, and then hang up. They must have
they
thought about something or said something to someone like their boss, hey, this guy just called, and then they researched you or whatever.
there's a
But
lot of crazies out there. I mean, they might be getting fucking, busted on all the time, them three. Because I was gonna call the Sherwin Williams down there and then call up the Comet Ping Pong and be like, yo, there's a main water leak. I need to go to the basement and shut off the main water, because there's a fucking basement there. There's an article from James Alefantis way back in like 2009, I believe, where he explains how he didn't even know you could get tomato sauce in a can. He had no idea. He was so fucking privileged. He thought everything came fresh made, right out of the fucking garden. So Comet Ping Pong, they grow all their fucking tomatoes. They can all their tomatoes and they store them where? In the basement. They have a
basement.
harvest party. They have a harvest party. He literally says it in the
Wow.
fucking article. I had a video that said, I debunk Pizzagate in less than 2 minutes. So it pissed people off. Some people wouldn't even look at it. They're like, fuck you. You think, and then other people get on and be like, what the fuck? Like, that wasn't debunking the Pizzagate. That like just showed that they had a fucking basement. And then someone emailed
Brilliant.
me and said that basement is Bucks. It's not pizza. It's not Comet Ping Pong. And it's like, okay, I didn't know about Bucks. Let's look at Bucks. Well, Bucks Camping and Fishing is next door, and James Alefantis owns that. It's a steakhouse, which makes me think of Alec Baldwin and Canteen Boy when you look at Bucks Camping and Fishing, and you got the fucking scouts and shit, and it's a steakhouse. That's fucking weird, and they got a basement. It's right next door, like, and
What
then you
the
got the Chevy
fuck?
Chase Museum next to, on the other side. And that's a whole
Damn.
fucking other thing. I mean,
Yeah,
but
we'll have to do an entire show just on that because I didn't really pay too much attention to the Pizzagate shit. I don't know what to think. I'm sure they are doing the fucked up shit they were accused of, but I don't know where it's centered at. I don't know if that's the fucking pizza
Mouthy
place
Buddha,
that's the center of
Mouthy
it.
Buddha did some great shit on just in 2020. I don't know if you've heard of Mouthy Buddha, but like if you go BitChute or Rumble and just look up Mouthy Buddha, Budda, right? Buddha, however you spell Buddha, and look up his
It makes
shit. Like Tripoli tried to get him on the show, but he doesn't want to come out. That dude's got to be in hiding. The shit that he's exposing with the Instagram hashtags and shit, I mean, they're hiding the shit in plain sight through hashtags. Like literally. Yeah, I mean they use Instagram, and they're trading pictures of kids like trading cards on Instagram through hashtags, and it's all being facilitated and perpetuated by Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all of them.
That's fucking nuts.
It is fucking nuts, and it's you go look up that Mouthy Buddha. His work is holy shit. Like
Yeah.
the shit he exposed is fucking crazy and very
I'll
dangerous.
definitely check that out. Maybe I'll play some of his videos on Rock.
Like it gets to talking about the Black Sun Club and shit in South Korea and how that was run like a hostel where they had cleanup teams to clean up the rooms after you murdered people or did whatever you did to. And then the videos are posted because they do snuff films, and they busted. I live in Arkansas, and right down the street they busted a South Korean national that was running the world's biggest child porn site They confiscated the site and ran the site. The FBI did for like 6 to 8 months. And how they busted them? Bitcoin.
Oh,
They tracked the ledgers of the Bitcoins.
great for decentralization. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but just the Black Sun Club that was run by one of those what are those Korean bands, you know, the boy band
K-pop?
K-pop? Yeah, it was ran by one of the K-pop, a leader of one of the K-pop bands who, you know, he got too old or whatever and they kicked him to the side, and he's running basically like a hostel club, you know, the movie Hostel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean they made that movie for a reason. That's real shit, and that was
I
being
believe
done
it.
at the Black Sun Club in South Korea.
Dude,
And
the world is a fucked up place. What do you, I mean, what more could you want? We have everything here. It's a great planet.
now we got to go. Well, it's so fucked up. It's time to get into that metaverse fucking tube.
Yeah.
You see, was it
Let's see what new
Switzerland?
levels of fucked up we could have.
Switzerland's got the suicide capsule. I don't know if you guys seen that. It's a suicide pod. So when you're done with the shit, you get in this pod, you push a button, and then you die. You know, it something about it pulls the oxygen out of the atmosphere, and you die peacefully without
Wow.
suffocating. Well, when you think about with the metaverse and look at like the movie with Bruce Willis, who now has prions, you know, his brain's all fucked up from the vaccine. When
Yeah.
you look at like Surrogate, when they're in a pod, you know, and they have their little fucking AI. Well, now you have a pod where you can live inside your metaverse, the deadverse, the death universe. And then when you're done with it, you push a button and you're off to, it's fucked up.
Off to Never Neverland.
Yep, and that's what they want, man. They tell us. I mean, Klaus Schwab wrote a fucking book. I mean, when they sit there and they tell you, like, World Economic Forum, they say you'll own nothing, be happy. You know, it's on their fucking Twitter. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna put up a fact check. I even put up a snapshot of their Twitter saying it, and then there's a fact check right next to it from Twitter saying, "Yeah, they didn't say that." It's like it's right here. Like, what are you fucking saying? It's right
Fucking
there.
screenshot.
Like, how
Yeah.
fucking insane am I? Oh yeah, you're gaslighting.
We just
I
have
mean,
to
very
keep doing
insane.
the work we're doing, keep getting it out there. That's
Yep.
how we can try to stop this, and not obviously going along and buying a suicide pod or, you know, plugging ourselves into an Oculus all day or following the CNN narrative.
Yep.
We have to actually get out there, not be afraid of any backlash, keep talking about it, keep making enemies, I guess. If they're still following that narrative, oh well, we tried. We can
Mhm.
just do the best we can, you know?
Not worried about enemies. Come at me. Well, dude, we got to get out of here. Ben's falling asleep. I got kids to feed.
Yep.
Tell everybody where they can find you for now until you get booted off more shit.
I'm mainly running on Twitter. Twitter, it's at Rained Out Rant for the Twitter. Facebook is facebook.com/RainedOutRantcast. Put the number 1 at the end. That's the main page. And then you can find me on any, you know, podcast platform. I mess around on Telegram a little bit, starting to get on Odyssey. Anywhere you look up Rained Out Rantcast, I should be. Sometimes Lewis Black pulls up, but whatever. I had
All
my
right, dude.
show
Thank you
first.
so much for joining us,
Well,
and we'll be catching up with you soon. Go ahead, Ben.
Oh, I was gonna say it was very nice meeting you. I actually really enjoyed this conversation. I wish I had more time, brother, but I just don't.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again.
4:30 comes early. So it was it
Hey.
was really nice having you on. I would love to have a longer conversation earlier in the day with time and space to watch the rabbit trail go wherever.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, dude. Have
Whenever
a good
when I
night.
do it again.
Thanks everybody in the live chat, everybody on audio. We will see you guys next time.
Peace.